Once upon a time.
Yes.
But twice before the rhyme. 3 times for mirth and 4 for death. 5 for silver, 6 for gold. 7 for a secret never to be told. 8 for a tale the spars have spun. 9 for a gate that cannot be undone. 10 for the trees of forgotten lore. 11 for a key to the spectral door. 12 for a mirror that reflects the night. 13 for a beast that lives in spite. 14 for a world beyond our reach. 15 for a speech no tongue can teach. 16 for a dream trapped in stone. 17 for the old god's hollow moan. 18 for the abyss that gazes back. 19 for the oncoming formless rack. 20 for a raven's final verse. And 1 more for a terrible, unbreakable curse. Welcome to Evergreen. Can you all roll me a d20 and write the number down? It will be extremely important in about a year when we get it. Put it in your character notes, put it somewhere you can find it.
Oh my god, what a way to start.
Ooh, I rolled pretty high too.
This is not a,
Yeah.
this is a random table, not a check that is good and bad.
Glad I'm not the only one then.
Oh, I rolled really good.
No.
Rose, what was yours?
6.
6? 6 for gold. Ryan, what was yours?
19.
19 for the oncoming formless rack. Emma?
11.
11 for the key to the spectral door. Him?
15.
Chris? 15. 15 for a speech no tongue can teach. And Bree? 1. Once upon a time.
Emperor Kim.
Yes, my apologies. You do just need the number, you don't need the little verse that goes with it. Alright. Evergreen is a world of forests and clearings. We'll be starting our particular adventures in one such clearing by the name of Lowmarsh. Lowmarsh is located right to the south of Camelot. And in fact, let's very quickly have a look at Arnland, which is the country, continent type area that our adventures will mostly take place in.
Mm-hmm.
Lowmarsh is this lovely little glade here. So Lowmarsh is on the southern part of Camelot, right near the borders to Mercia, where Merida hails from, and Grimsby, where many people come from.
Should we then?
What we're going to do now is do some very quick character introduction stuff. Some of you have some, effectively a flashback will do. Other people have just a little, give yourself an introduction. We can either go by rolling dice, or we can go by volunteers. So, volunteers. Wonderful. Once upon a time, we'll go from that. 1 for Mordred. Do we want to reintroduce everyone's characters to everyone else, or are we feeling good with that from sessions?
A little bit of a refresher weren't her.
Wonderful. Hey, do you want to give us a quick, 2 or 3 sentence introduction from Mordred?
As in story-wise, or just description of what he looks like?
Mostly description stuff. We'll do story.
Yeah. Okay, Mordred is a young boy. He's around 16, 17 years old. He's got scruffy black hair with a streak of white. He's got very pale, almost grey-tinged skin. And he wears pretty old rag-type clothing. The notable thing about him is he's got a cloak which has a lot of embroidery on the inside of tiny little images all connected with a thread.
I love that.
Oh, he's got green eyes too.
Mordred, you've been travelling in a rickety old cart for a while. For the last little bit, you've been travelling with Drizella. Emma will do you right after this. In fact, actually, yeah, sorry. Emma, what was the number you rolled again real quick?
11.
11? 11, I would like to introduce Drizella.
Drizella is slightly older than Mordred. She's about 23, but it's very difficult to tell. She wears a heavy, full-length, dark travelling cloak with a very deep hood. You rarely see her face or her skin, and she tends to sit very much in the shadows. When you do, her skin is almost translucent and pulled incredibly tight, so you can see the muscle fibers and the bones underneath. Her eyes are green, but sometimes when you look into her hood, you see this sort of sickly yellow glow rather than eyes themselves. She has white hair. It's pretty straggly.
How long do you think Drizella and Mordred have been travelling together? Could be only a couple of hours. You could have met the last blade as you headed off on this caravan trip. Could have been several weeks or anywhere in between.
Would you like to take the lead?
We ended up in the same caravan. So Drizella is travelling from her home up towards Lowmarsh. She wants to try and find the hospice, primarily to seek cover as a respectable member of society in the sort of masked order of medics. She's sort of hiding in the dark places in this caravan, away from the campfire and things like that. Mordred's joined the caravan maybe 3 or 4 days earlier, so we've been travelling for a number of days.
And he also would have been hiding away from other people, and when he saw Drizella hiding away from the campfire and other people, he would have gone to keep her company and started talking to her.
Yeah. Even with the roads carved between the glade clearings and the forest, travel is extremely dangerous. You will find trouble, and you will have to test your mettle most times you go from one place to another. Given this, most sensible folk travel in what are known as caravans. Big concessions and groups of people all together, usually with hired help. Sometimes the woodland watchers will guard it, other times other groups and interests will do it. A great recurring gig for adventuring types is to just offer to guard a caravan moving from place to place. And part of that is a real strong culture around travelling companions and that sort of thing. You need to know who you're travelling with, know that when stuff goes bad, because it will, that someone has your back. What I'd like both of you to do is to please make an impression. So can I get a diplomacy check from each of you? Diplomacy being a skill. 15?
3.
3. Wonderful. And can you both tell me your will DC, which is 10 plus whatever your saving throw to will saves is?
So 10 plus will save 19.
19?
Hang on.
Wow, that's going to be interesting. That's very
Well, that's 15.
16.
16. Wonderful. Good to know. Nothing particular with that. We'll come back to it later. Love that. Two of you have been travelling for a while. As you reach Lowmarsh. Lowmarsh is quite a small glade compared to most other places. First thing you would see from the distance is the road starts to straighten out quite a bit, and then a great high wall. It's quite old though. This place looks like it's been here for a very long time, even though it's quite small. And you would see that the road comes to a gatehouse, a great place of various wooden fences and that sort of thing. A couple of guards around just keeping it safe. A little to the left of the gatehouse being a great watchtower that now looks abandoned. Great chunks of stone missing from it. It's not in disrepair by any means, but there's certainly no lights, and it certainly doesn't look like it's in use. In that carriage with you would also be Bigby and potentially Merida. We'll talk about that when we talk to you, Rose. So we'll hold that off there and come back to you a bit later. Who'll get the next lowest number after Mordred?
Probably me.
Wonderful. That was a 6 for Merida. How are we spelling Merida?
Meri.
Lovely. Rose, would you like to tell us a little bit about Merida?
So Merida comes from the north, so she is rubbed up well. She's got a nice, a fairly heavy cloak with fur around the hood.
Can I play some theme music for you?
She is very good with animals. Unruly, wild red hair, kind of off with the fairies most of the time. Doesn't like
Can you turn
taking
it down?
orders from her family. So she's kind of
Sorry.
gone off for this
Yeah, sorry.
little adventure to discover who she is, the leader, before her father ultimately passes in the future.
And am I right in that Merida has been training under a witch for the last little
Yes. So during the period of trying to change her fate, she found the witch in the woods.
Besser
who-
of the Lone Pines? They
Yes.
That, if you like it.
Yep, that works. Whom tricked Merida in the beginning, but ultimately Merida decided to go back to the witch after everything had settled at home to ask her to study under her because she feels there's a lot that she can use to help lead her country in her area to
Wonderful.
great success.
Yeah, and while you haven't had any fruition in casting any spells or anything quite yet, at least not
Yep.
tangible magic, you'd be getting close.
I've got the theory.
You've got the theory,
Just
and you're planning to take a dedication feat next level, or like
Yeah.
as soon as you can do
Yeah.
that. Cool. So I'll let you do like minor magical stuff now, with a bit of preparation, that sort of thing. I think you're trained in Arcana and Occultism anyway, so
Yeah.
you'll be able to do most of the things anyway. I'm going to use the word mentor, I think, unless you've got a better one you prefer. But the witch you've been seeing, Bessa, before you headed off, especially if you'd started talking about wanting to adventure,
Mhm.
she would have not cautioned you, but would have said given you two key bits of information. The first being that coming up very soon is a very pivotal time for magic casters. The way a lot of magic works, it's tied to something that's very difficult to tell, but comes and goes like the tide. There are certain times in history, year to year, even day to day, where magic is more powerful and available and less powerful and important. And what we are seeing coming very soon, in a couple of days, 2 or so weeks from we start now, is effectively a king tide, when it will be the right time of the year, be the winter solstice, and it'll be the right time of the night and the right time of the age, almost many different things will make a very powerful magical night for a lot of different disciplines and different things that could be done then. She would encourage you that will be the time you could seek yourself out a patron who will grant you your witch's powers and that sort of thing. You can get yourself a familiar and spells and that sort of thing. Pim Sibylla would also know that as well. The other thing she would have told you, now your mentor Bessa is a witch, not a hag, and that distinction is really relevant through the entire campaign. Hags live in the wilds, they kidnap people, they are not engaged with society, if that makes sense. Some of them have just abandoned that sort of thing, others have had a terrible magical accident that's warped their bodies and minds, or that sort of thing. Witch, however, is a job, or I suppose like a title, it's like doctor. But she would have said that there is another witch who needs your help, and they would have told you that if you go anywhere near Lowmarsh, to go to the jail and seek them out. As an old person who once trained under a similar master that they trained under many years ago. Could you please? You're going to make a secret sense motive check on that, if you want to.
Okay.
Or you can just blindly trust the witch, your choice.
No, I would probably try and check it.
What's your modifier to, I believe it's called insight in this? Sense motive.
There isn't insight.
There is no insight.
Sense motive, check versus deception DC. Perception check, please. Sorry, what's your perception modifier?
It's under offense.
+6.
+6, wonderful.
That's good.
I roll a dice. I add 6 to your roll. I'm going to check that against the deception DC of the target. Wait. Give me a half second to check the number. This one. There we go.
I'm going to have to upgrade that because it must be familiars without doing that.
You probably will need to. Happy to shout you $9 if you
Oh, that's okay. probably be able to squeeze it into the 6.
You won't hit level 2 at least until the end of the music.
I got paid for it, so I might as well just pay it as soon as I get paid. Therefore, it's paid for. I don't accidentally spend money. That's the smartest job.
Wonderful. That took a while, sorry, but I know what I'm doing now, so I should get quicker every time I do it. To the best of your knowledge, she's telling the truth. And
You can roll in the app.
put this stuff here. I just need to put the book.
I know, but I keep forgetting I've got.
And how is Merida? How does Merida come to Lowmarsh? Are you heading from where you've lived just over from the east, or have you been adventuring further afield and heading north? This will just determine
I'd
whether
say
you're
this is probably the start of her journey.
okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Then you'd almost definitely be in the same traveling group
Yep.
as Mordred and Drizella. In all likelihood, you've probably only just met, or even not even met them, but been in the same group as them, heading off from Fallow Seal earlier in the day.
Yeah.
Or if you like, you could have all been travelling for a bit longer, whatever goes. Wonderful. And we'll come back to Jesse's to Bigby in a minute. We will now go over. Ryan, what did you roll?
19.
19. And Chris?
15.
15. Lovely. It's 4. Nick is N-I-K. And
Yes.
how are we spelling Sibylla, Chris?
SIBYLLA.
Thank you very much. That was the last time I'll ask anyone for spelling anything
It's okay.
ever, if I can help it.
What is it? Sorry, go on. I'll ask about something soon. But
No, now's a great time.
I'm just trying to read the name of that forest. Is it
top one,
Bruliende?
How do we say
Oh.
we're pronouncing it?
Broccoliende.
Broccoliende, I think it is. It's French.
Yeah. I don't do French.
No,
Only
if,
something
you
you a little French.
if you gave me German, I'd be happy to help you out, but that's
If it was
French.
Brode, it would be Dutch. But
Which word?
Broccoliende. Forest.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds
Broccoliende.
better.
Yeah, sounds about
That
right.
sounds more
Yeah,
Italian.
broccoli.
Chris, would you like to quickly introduce your character? Or reintroduce, I should say.
So Sibylla is a witch, a gnome, roughly 90 years old, but appears as a 20-year-old due to acquiring spell. Currently has red hair, but much of the life has had grey hair for quite a while. But now has red hair. Is in tattered rags. Has
Currently in a jail cell.
currently in a jail cell because I tried to. I literally skid as and have just come out of the forest where I live. The Broccoliende or whatever we called it.
Broccoliende.
That one, where I've lived, and I needed food, supplies, and I've lost all my skills and lifelong ability in magic, so I've entered the town in an attempt to try and procure them using less than legal means. And during such times, I was apprehended by the authorities and are now sitting in jail. Have been for about a week because they couldn't be bothered giving me any sort of justice at this point. So, but I am grateful because in jail I am fed food. So when they say, "Do you want to be heard or not?" Happy mealtime now.
No burning rush.
Precious gruel.
And you have a familiar, as all witches do.
Yes, I have a familiar. I have a cat named Shan.
Cat named
The cat was not arrested and it's kind of just like wandering.
I love that. That's a lot of fun. Actually. You would see definitely. So your familiar it lets you contact your patron to get your magical, the raw power of your magic from.
Mhm.
The actual skill and execution is all in learning the right spells and those sorts of maneuvers, but the power itself through your familiar, from your patron to your familiar.
We'll use a conduit.
Welcome to Jesse.
Hello.
We all started by rolling a d20.
Okay,
Would you like to give us a d20 roll?
that's a 4.
4 for death. It's a great
Oh,
roll.
fantastic.
There's a sneaky little poem I read.
You're
that
dead,
stuck
My
in my-
character's
Game
just dead
over.
already. I'll go back
Yeah,
home.
so
Reroll. New character.
Death in the Tarot sense, so let's see. Um,
You're not a werewolf, are you? Transition
I'm
into
part
human.
yeah, so Sibylla's been hanging out there. Sibylla,
Hanging out.
probably
Mm.
hanging out's a very nice way to describe being in jail. Sibylla, you would know that you would have noticed probably a day or two ago, you were joined in jail by one Nick Jones. Ryan, would you like to introduce Nick Jones again?
Nick's, I'd say he's around 21, 22. Very, very brash, very young age. But he grew up with pirates. That's how it is. So he's got ear length, dark brown hair that looks dishevelled, but it's on purpose. Like, all of his clothes look like they're made out of like poor grade materials, but they're all made very, very well. So he's got like a white linen shirt. He wears a leather waistcoat, and his signature piece is a large black leather jacket. He wears with it, and normally carries a sword on his hip. Now, all of his belongings look old and tarnished, but they're not. They're made to look that way.
Interesting.
He doesn't stand up all the way. He hunches a little bit. Never fully extends any of his limbs. His whole thing is he wants people to underestimate him. He wants to be constantly underestimated because it puts people on the back foot and allows them to be easier marks for him. It's his whole thing.
The two of you have been in jail together. You'd be probably in the same sort of larger type cell with double bunk. Have the two of you been chatting at all or keeping to yourselves? I like to say, just for logistics, you're in two separate cells, but like next to each other.
Nick would be trying to start a conversation. Whether Sibylla wants to talk or not, it's a totally different matter. He'd be trying to while away the hours with conversation.
What do you reckon?
I think that I would have sized up Nick and realised seeing he didn't have anything worth stealing, so not that I'm a great at stealing to begin with, but
Nick is in jail for gambling and cheating. He got caught cheating.
Ooh. Fantastic. I love that. In that case, Ryan, can you please make an impression, which is a diplomacy check?
Diplomacy.
And Sibylla, what is your will modifier?
19.
19.
what do I find saves?
Should be the top bar.
Defense.
Will have 3 of them. Fortitude,
Reflex and will.
reflex, and will.
Oh, well, okay, yeah, sorry. So I just roll and add the modifier?
No, you're not actually rolling it. You're just straight adding 10 to it for this.
Oh, 17.
17. Wonderful. Wonderful. That's a success. With that, you... so with that, Nick Jones is able to convince you that they're not sort of a vagabond or non-trustable type person. They seem like an entirely reasonable type. From what you've heard. Could you also... Actually, let's have a secret check as well. What's your occultism modifier?
+7.
Wonderful. That will come into play later. And with the two of you there, I think we'll come and visit you two back in a bit because you might be there for a minute or two. We'll have stuff to do.
Been in a week already.
Lots of another couple of
It has
minutes.
lunchtime.
This isn't Nick's first time in the big house.
Stale
He's-
bread and
he's-
onion soup.
He's like on the.
Doing good tonight.
He's in his bunk with his feet up, with his hands behind his head. He's been here before. He knows what to do.
You see,
He's
lunchtime, the two of you are visited
Yeah,
by
yeah,
Officer
tree
Bradley.
Yeah.
They're as close to what Lowmarsh has as a captain of the guard.
Officer Bradley.
Officer Bradley, who gives you, a simple stew type thing, maybe a little bit of bread and a glass of water. Jesse,
Yeah.
would you like to introduce your character? Again, just
Big B,
quickly, 2 or 3
sure.
sentences.
So, Big B is a barbarian human who can turn into a big bad wolf. Is that one of the side? I can't remember. Also,
You're cool.
Yeah.
I've got barbarian as your class, though.
yeah, definitely barbarian.
He's also the greatest showman.
Indeed. So he's also a detective, but he fights for the rights of the workers, and so he's got a bad reputation because of some evil pigs.
You would know that Lowmarsh is one of the few places in this part of the world that is run by a democratically elected. It's a people's
Oh, yeah.
collective. So, like, a pretty safe place for someone like yourself to go hide out until, the flame dies down. I've got the three little pigs I thought could be the... what did I have a name for?
Got to be some sort of merchant guild.
Well, yes, it was either the Hodgson brothers or the Hogwell brothers. I think Hodgson was what I said.
Got to be merchants. You're trying to take corporate pigs.
enjoy the taste of pork.
Got to be taking out those corporate pigs.
You most likely will be travelling to Lowmarsh via a caravan,
Mm-hmm.
as well as a few other sort of people who I don't have a token for here. Three of the people you'd see on your caravan would be a red-haired ranger dressed for weather far colder than this one, a cloaked figure who rarely shows their face, and Mordred be armoured.
Yeah, just chainmail.
Yeah, and an armoured human who would be hanging out the cloaked figure quite a bit. Would you have been talking to them or anything over the last 2 or 3 hour road trip you've all been on together? Do you think?
I think minimally. I think I'd be keeping to myself just to scope them out a bit more.
Yeah, for sure.
Watch them talk. I'm going to be the guy that's not going to be talking that much, but watching everyone else.
If you'd like, totally not just to showcase some mechanics here, I'll let you get a vibe check on someone if you want to.
Oh yeah.
Go for
Wonderful.
the general
Can
vibe
you
check.
give me a one of these?
I feel like Merida would have talked to everyone, or at least tried to talk to everyone.
Yeah, probably what it comes under. Yeah, give us a sense of it, which is give me a perception check, please.
Okay.
And who are you targeting? Which one are you interested in?
Who you get?
Cloaked individual, the person who looks overdressed for the weather, or the armored person.
The person. I still think the redhead. is
Fair
probably who I'm
What
curious
is your
about.
deception modifier, if I could?
Perception modifier is +3.
Wonderful, so your DC is 10. You want to give me a perception check, Bigby?
That's a dirty 20.
Nice.
Crits are important for skill checks here. When you get a crit, you still add the numbers like you normally would, and then it would also let me know it's a crit. If that makes sense.
Anything that's plus 10 is a crit.
Nope. So
Oh,
I mean,
well,
if you
natural
roll,
20.
I mean, if you roll a natural 20.
Natural 20. Oh, okay.
Roll a natural 20, that was quite a bit.
Success like
I'll leave it up to Euros. What
If
would
you-
do you
yeah,
think a
you have a look
detective?
at this one.
They've beaten the thing by a decent bit. Be able
If
to
you
find
look at
out
any of
about
the
Merida
others.
for a couple of hours on the road.
If you look at
You want to share some secrets or
look
anything
at,
like that?
it tells you
It doesn't need to be anything massive
what
or
happens,
huge.
for
Merida
example.
wouldn't. Merida
that's
doesn't
really
really
Yeah, but what
many
happens if you get
secrets after.
Oh, because
school
you would have
with
crit success,
her
6
mother,
successes,
I think.
fail on a crit fail.
So
I've
you
looked at that
would
in
probably
spells.
find out,
the same for all actions?
just
So
the
cool. That makes it more of a sliding scale. That's actually really good. Really good. I like that.
You'd know this person is definitely from the north by the
Yeah.
equipment they're carrying. Maybe a
you know they're definitely some noble-ish person.
they come from a family with money.
Yeah.
Cool.
She doesn't actively make it known that she's noble, but she certainly has that kind of sense about her.
Wonderful. We're going to start with the 4 people in the caravan, being Drizella, Merida, Mordred, and Bigby. As the caravan arrives, the
Sorry, I'm going to grab my
gatehouse.
laptop.
You'd all hop out. There'd be various people be unpacking goods and that. You'd be given your personal bags and that sort of thing. The caravan probably then park itself over by the trade house for a minute and then get ready to head straight back from where they come from. The gatehouse itself, you see, has quite a number of people around. There's probably 4 or 5 different guards. Guards wearing, just some very simple gambeson sort of armor. This is a small town, they've got a spear, maybe some of them also have a sword, some of them have a club. This is not a strong military force by any means. And as well as there would also be a number of what you would know to be medicasters, doctors and healer types. Not strictly speaking magical, but very skilled in various healing techniques and that sort of thing.
Will the walls of the town be sort of stone or more like timber palisade type things?
50 years ago, they were solid stone walls all the way around. They've not been repaired in about 50 years. So there'd be various, crumbling parts of the wall that had been fixed in with timber and that sort of thing. But people like Sibylla definitely could have gotten through without too much trouble.
Yeah, right.
You have a feeling these walls definitely don't, or you would in fact know if you were to have living here. About 50 years ago, when the war started breaking out, the supply lines broke down and they didn't have the funds to keep fixing it.
I remember when it was just a nooking and grin.
Absolutely. This village has been here longer than Sevilla's been alive, but it's definitely suffered more than most in the recent northern. But as you all come towards the gatehouse, you would know that the standard sort of protocol before you get into anywhere here is you're going to get checked out for a condition called red eye, which is a plague currently spreading around these parts. Yeah.
What part of the eye does that affect?
The eye.
Is it the whites of the eye or the iris?
You get bloodshot in the eye. And the white of the eye.
Just something for Nick later on.
Nick, I'm assuming, snuck into town?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it would also be another reason why you were arrested.
He snuck in under the cover of night.
Yeah.
Straight to the tavern, playing cards and cheating.
As you all get in, you see people kind of vaguely forming a line, and you'll be, brought in. You'll have a medical exam, which I'm not going to make anyone roll or anything for. Because it's all varying from yours. Taking you aside, medical hospital gives you a looks in the eyes, asks you if you're feeling all right, that sort of thing. Been in contact with
Didn't
anyone.
think I'd saved my character, but I went on my history and loaded it up, and it's just come back exactly as I had left it. Oh god, because I was already starting to rebuild it from scratch.
I had to do that today because it didn't say
When I see, bye. Yeah.
And then you would be brought in. What order do people line up in?
Okay,
As you
I got
see
my
people-
modifier right for this.
Is anyone particularly keen to get to town? Is anyone hanging back a little bit?
Mordred would let everyone else go first.
Oh, I was going to say, in a lineup for a medical examination,
Yeah.
I would be vying with Mordred for the back of the line.
Wonderful.
Like literally moving behind people, so queuing up and then stepping out and and then coming back in further back in the line.
Wonderful.
While looking for any opportunity to get in without it.
Is the person doing the checks one of those doctors with the plague mask?
You see, so not everyone's kit out with the full plague mask. There'd probably be the head doctor that has the full plague mask. The rest are just kind of a cloth covering.
Okay.
Full plague is an expensive deal to carry.
very expensive. Plus all the herbs you get filled with.
Big B, unless you duck to the back of the line, you just find yourself being the first of these four that go
Fine.
through. You see medical check. You don't have red eye. You see they look you in the eyes fairly quickly. Do a quick thing, wave some herbs around you, give you a little scrap of paper which is labelled with where you were. You got cleared. You're all good. You can show this.
Do I know what red eye does?
You all know vaguely what it is. Give me a medicine check to see how well you understand it.
Could we all do that?
Yeah, sure. Why not? Go ahead.
Ooh, 22.
My medicine.
Doing
4.
pretty well. As you probably
You
know, someone
invented the
suffers
cure.
from it.
4.
4. You have not needed to know what it was. With a 4, what you would know, your old home used to be Xander, which is one of the biggest cities in Evergreen. Xander is also where Red Eye came into this continent on.
Oh,
It was
okay,
the
yeah.
first kind of place that it broke on. You left before it
Is
got there.
Xandar like a coastal town? Like
Coastal,
yeah.
Big trade city, huge ports and docks as far as you can see east and as far as you can see west.
Yeah.
Or north and south, sorry.
Cool.
I got to the 11.
An 11, you would know that it's a disease that for a while you're a character, like a couple of weeks, and then it starts to affect the mind and people go rabid. They will lose their ability to speak, they will start attacking things on sight. Generally not great sort of stuff.
5.
5. Similarly, you would have heard it's a very bad disease that kills people. Even with a 5, you know about the rabid thing. You'd know more about timelines and specifics and that sort of stuff that I'll fill in. The 22, you'd know how it spreads and that sort of stuff, not immediately relevant, but will make it later. Anyone beat a 22 or any other interesting numbers?
Come on, cleric.
Oh, no, I'm not rolling a medicine check
Yeah.
on the play.
But you'd be... the next thing that would happen is you'd see one of the guards would take you aside, Bigby, and just filling out a little bit of paper. So start with name, please.
Big B.
Where are you coming? Where do you call home?
Xandar.
Wonderful. And what's your purpose in Lowmarsh?
Looking for somewhere to make my new acquaintance.
Oh, you want to see the mayor then if you're looking to move here? A
Okay.
man by the name of Lewis in the town.
Sounds good.
We're not coming down immediately, they're not there.
Okay.
You want to go see the head of the
Just wrote
People's
M.
Committee.
Yeah, thank you.
Lewis Short in town. They give you a little ticket, let you get in and out of town without going through the gates, and that to you. Merida, you're next in line, same thing, name, home,
You'll need that.
crossroad, whatever that one was, and why have you come to town? That could be
Just
possible.
traveling through.
Yeah, wonderful. You get given one that's dated, so you will last you the rest of the day, and then tomorrow, if you're still in town and you want to get in, you have to go through the gate again.
Different treatment than what she's used to, so she's a bit confused. But
Yeah, this is the Mercia definitely wouldn't do this sort of thing, and certainly not
Yeah.
strictly. Camelot's quite on the board with this sort of thing
Yeah.
to play.
that's why she's going on the adventure, because she needs to learn what the rest of the world is doing.
Drizella and Mordred, can you give me what's called a flat check, which is a luck roll? It's just a d20.
13.
13,
10.
10. Drizella, you're next in line.
When I get to the front
Mhm.
of the thing and they're trying to look under my hood to look into my eyes, I would like to cast Ancient Dust and Cough. Let's start with that, shall we?
This is going to be.
What does ancient dust do?
Ancient Dust is a 15-foot cone, and you cough up a cloud of grey soil echoing the dust of graves. And each creature in the area, which I'm assuming is the mediperson trying to examine me, takes negative damage equal to my spellcasting modifier, which is 4, and so it's a fortitude save.
So you use that to
Strong,
sneak
right
in.
off the bat.
So you woke up today and chose violence.
I've just
18.
so
On
my
the guards, what did you say? 18?
so my divine DC is 17, so that's passes.
So that's
Yes.
a pass,
Yep.
which I imagine success is half damage and no consistent damage.
Yes, so that's 2.
To the medical person who is present.
This is a very different cleric.
I just coughed.
You say 17 was your DC?
Yep.
They also succeed, so they both take a few points of damage. What's your desire to happen? Are you trying to stop them investigating you?
I don't like being looked at. I don't particularly want them under my hood. So, I'm just dissuading them. I'm not trying to desperately injure them. Just dissuading them from looking too
Could
closely.
you give me an intimidation check? In the way that you're
Okay.
dissuading is I know different to intimidation. It's the closest thing.
Yeah, I can do that. 19.
19.
That's pretty good.
My eyes are also patently sort of sickly yellowy green rather than red, and they glow a bit.
You see that
But-
they hack and cough. And one of the other fun things in Pathfinder I will know is that even a commoner has 15 hits, so you won't instantly kill someone by giving a sword.
That's good.
It was a non-fatal cough.
It's a non-fatal.
I'll declare that. It was intended to be a non-fatal cough.
That's good to know. You actually can't do non-fatal
Spreading-
negative damage.
spreading
just
the
so
red
you know
eye.
in the future.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I'm jesting. I wouldn't have minded.
Was that a cantrip?
Yep.
Wow. That's really cool.
You see the medicaster who's checking out kind of stands back a bit, wiping it off there, and says, "What is this? What's going on? What are you doing?"
I'm looking for the Sage Hospice.
You see the guard and the doctor share a quick look. You see the guard quickly ducks off and has a quick word with the person that's in the big mask, who seems to be your suit in charge.
Yeah, okay.
Kind of wanders over and you see gestures from the back away. They kind of pull you to the side. Everyone else who's there sees this all going down. You see a couple of guards. They don't go at arm, but they're definitely watching the situation. As you see the head doctor speaking
Being
through the
quarantined.
says, "Yes. In order to let you in, we do need to check you for red eye. Are you feeling all right?
I feel as well as I always feel.
You don't sound particularly well.
A mild cough.
Yes, that's not a good sign. We need to look at your eyes to check you're not sick. I need you to take your hood down."
She faces towards, so with the
We can take you to a room if you want
to a private room.
You see a gesture to like a converted stable.
I follow them.
The head doctor takes you over in there. And says, "Yes, if you're more comfortable now, I just need to do a quick exam."
I take my hood down.
Dear. Jeez. sure you're feeling quite well. You don't look
I feel absolutely fine.
right. Well, and you see they kind of go in and examine you and say, well, it's not red eye. I can see why you're seeking the hospital. And you see they kind of say, would you, I'm a Medicus, would you mind if I examined you quickly to make sure everything was okay?
If you must. And I'm going to, while he's doing that, I'm just going to glare at him with my intimidating glare, which gives the option to demoralize on my intimidation check. Yeah. Excellent. So that's dirty 20 on intimidation.
They actually, you see, so the surgeon actually has a +10 to will save, so that success. They are not shaken easily.
Good on
They
him.
kind of just hold your gaze as they're working.
I quite like it. He's nice.
So this is somewhat beyond me, but if you were seeking any medical advice, I'd recommend you speak with Matron Simone in the Burnstage Hospital. She's the head of our local order. She is well-read and extensively researched.
Very kind. I shall do that.
You see, they write they give you a ticket. They say, and what brings you to Lowmarsh?
The hospice.
Yes. Sorry. And they give you a ticket that will last a week. And up to you. So just head to the hospital department straight away. Finally, in that list is Mordred.
Yep.
Again, same thing. Eye exam. You don't have red eye, so it's all fine. Name, please.
Mordred?
And where do you call home? I don't have a home. Fair enough. Wanderer. And what brings you to Lowmarsh?
I'm traveling through the ruins, but I'm going to the hospice.
Very good, very good. Are you planning to stay for long?
Not really.
They give you a 24-hour ticket.
And then I'll run off to try and find Giselle.
Sure. With that, you all get into the city. Where would people like to go next? I'm assuming the two, Emma and Bree, are usually heading to the hospital straight away, or are you doing anything else first?
I would be heading straight there on the grounds that I've already raised
Some eyebrows.
some eyebrows. So
Mordred would immediately run up to her and be like, "Are you feeling okay?"
a small cough. Nothing to worry about.
I'm a healer too. I can help.
Lovely little boy. Save your healing.
It's incredibly honest. Merida, where are you heading?
I like it.
Being told you probably would have been directed to the two local inns, the major ones being the Split Bell and the Lone
Lone
Pine.
Yes, no bite.
Well, Merida would probably just wander around the town first, just kind of taking in the sights, seeing what people do around this area.
You would find, as you're doing that, you would definitely find the Broken Bricks, which you would know is the guard headquarters of jail, which you would know if which you're trained under would have spoken of the person being there. But you start from there. And Big B, where are you headed?
Where he told me to go to
You go see
meet
the
that
mayor?
guy. Yeah, well, the head of the thing.
I forgot.
Head of the
I
council.
was
Head of the
I would be
council.
slowly making my way to the jail, just wandering through the city.
Wonderful. Alright. I have got something for both Nick and Sibylla.
Mm-hmm.
Would you two just like to roll a d20 to see who gets to go first? And I will go first.
19.
20.
Ridiculous.
It's like, is there a point in you rolling? Like,
Oh, I rolled a 5 before. Come on.
So Dren, your turn.
I'm not Dren. I purposely built this character not to be Dren.
Nick, it's, 10-ish in the morning. It's not super late in the day yet. You're in a jail cell. What are you up to?
Exercise.
Exercise.
look at me.
What in this particular moment
I'm
is...
the Barbie.
Just
Pick it.
lazily doing sit-ups.
As you're doing sit-ups, you see as you going up.
He's just laying in the cot, going, "Yeah, I should probably keep fit."
You get a little sweat in your eye as you kind of look away. More in your other eye. You go, you feel this waft of coolness start to go around your feet like lungs. And as you look down, the entire room is filling with water. You smell the distinct, tangible smell of salt and the sea filling up and up and up. Do you do anything while this is happening? It's moving at an alarmingly fast
Panic.
pace. Yes,
Absolute panic.
That's a fairly appropriate thing to be doing.
He'd be yelling out for the guards.
Is this water just confined to his cell?
Well, that's an interesting question, and we'll come to that when we get back
Carry
to
on.
it.
He'd be yelling at anybody that
See, as your voice just echoes through this building as if it's only you present. And as you kind of look around, you see the back wall of your cell has vanished, and there's an infinite expanse behind you. As you then turn around where the front of your cell was again, gone, and as you look, suddenly you are alone in the space as the water goes up, overtakes over your head, and flies deep, deep down. You see sand crawling out, and a crab pops up, rocks of coral begin to fall.
It's a very
As
busy
you find yourself at the very bottom of the ocean. You start to hear someone approaching. Even though you're underwater, you hear the thump of heavy footsteps on the ground as you feel a presence.
Nick could be frantically trying to hold his breath.
You hang on as long as you can, but you eventually have to breathe in. You can breathe fine. Can you give me, you took sailing, I think it was, as a
Yes.
skill? Give me a check for that if you would be so kind.
Shipwork.
You can use religion if you have that.
No. Ooh, that's 10.
10. You see around you, your vision starts to clear a little.
Oh, hang on, no, 13, sorry.
13. Your vision starts to clear a little as there are carcasses of old ships you see in the distance. You see many more skeletons than there should be on all of these. You see the sand right below you moving around starts to have a hand and a skeleton there as well. As you realise you are at the bottom of the sea in the locker. You start to hear the thumping of feet. You see the face of a man of brine and the sea itself. And even if you're 13, you would recognise this from many sailor stories and wood carvings.
Good old
Davy
Jones.
Jones.
Good old Davy Jones.
Keeper of the dead. You see a man not rotting like a corpse, but something that's sat underwater a great long time. Barnacles growing over their skin. You see their left eye fully missing as a hermit crab half crawls out and scuttles back in. And there is coral hair coming off the back of them as they walk over and face you. Just taking, you can see from the look in their eyes, they're taking you in pleasure.
This is one of the few times that Nick will actually stand up straight.
You see you do that, and you see you are nothing next to this.
Oh, he knows, but he's
They
going to be a
have
little
the
bit defiant.
Size of the greatest wave you could see at sea, and the intensity of the worst storm. So they look over you. I was wondering when Hook would let his guard down. Been on my lists for a while, boy.
What have I done to you?
You've done nothing, but your caretaker has made some rather poor bets with you as collateral. Needs to reach out a hand.
Typical.
Of course
I hope you understand. I hold you no ill will. This is a matter of debt. And you see, as he goes to grab you, his hand is pushed away for a second as this strange laughter fills the air.
Ooh.
Bearing into nothing. As you see, they look about for them and say, "You're marked by something else. It's your lucky day, boy. Don't let me find you straying too far from the sea." You see, he starts to walk away. Did you say anything as he's going?
Nick is thoroughly confused. Thoroughly confused.
You see, just as suddenly as it began, as he walks away, the great wrecks seep back into the sand and the water vanishes, and you wake up on the ground, drenched in sea water.
That was a very, very vivid dream.
Perhaps a little more.
Well, that was the weirdest thing I've ever experienced. What the?
With that, we will slide over to somewhere else. We'll come back to Sibylla in a minute. Let's do the hospital. find the hospice, the Burnt Sage Hospice, over on this side of town. A very large building with a great many people. As soon as you're near the front door, it's immediately clear something big is happening there. There's people being lifted on stretchers and carriers. 4 people lifting up these quite heavily armored soldiers moving about. What do the two of you do?
Mordred would immediately run to someone who sees and asks what's going on.
Yeah. You see one of the soldiers a little less badly injured, sitting down on kind of the steps up to the building, or you see a medicaster of some sort, also not particularly busy. Who do you go start to?
Probably the medicaster.
Yeah, for sure. You go over there, you see they say, we found them a little ways to the north. Cameron soldiers caught in some sort of massacre with some undead. They're talking about some sort of necromancer out there causing trouble.
A necromancer?
Indeed, it's not been seen in these parts for a while, but they have all the symptoms of some terrible illness spreading between them. We've been trying to do the best we can, but it's very resilient to treatment.
Do they need any more heals in that?
If you have the skill, it would certainly not be amiss.
I'll go in and try.
So, you want to talk to the matron, she'll see you through, and they kind of start leading you in that direction. Drizella, what about yourself?
Drizella just follows. She doesn't engage the soldiers in conversation, hoods up, face down, looking for the matron into the hospital.
Yeah, for sure. You're led through. Once you're inside, there are dozens and dozens of these soldiers in Camelin colours, so reds and golds and yellows and that sort of thing. If you want to, either of you can give me a medicine check as you go through the halls just to assess what's going on. But you see they're all of a palette colour.
Oh look, another nat one.
Stream sweat going on.
20.
You've got hero points if you want to use them.
21.
Get,
21.
get all the nat ones out the way early in the campaign. Good idea.
21.
No, this is just how I roll.
Oh, you're our new David.
Yeah.
Try not to make you hate.
You see that the ones who are in the worst condition all have what are definitely bite marks, often multiple bite marks all over them. They have a terrible pallor about them. They're very still. They definitely don't look well. Most of them don't look long for this world.
Do I have any sense of what this might be? Or whether this is curable?
A little louder.
Do I have any sense of what this might be, or whether this is curable?
With the 21, I don't believe so. Let me just check. DC is that, plus the level of the thing, which is 17, which is then... Go. You got a 21.
One.
With a 21, you can't identify the condition itself, but you do know that it does definitely seem like the sorts of diseases and curses and that undead are known to carry.
Okay.
You'll head along up the stairs to the kind of main treatment ward, but there's lots of people being rushed in, kind of the emergency sort of department. And you see up the front of which is a woman in a great big plague mask, the big coat, the hat, goggles, all the sorts, and wrapped in a kind of chain of flowers around her neck, giving various instructions. And the other medicaster you were traveling with points you towards her and runs off to deal with their duties.
What type of flowers are they?
You see there are a variety. There's some dandelion, there's some cornflower, there's some roses. You know there are various herbs used in the ales and the treatment of ailments and conditions. So they kind of look over at the two of you and say, yes?
We're here to help about the hurt soldiers.
Oh, you're a healer, right?
I'm a healer, yeah. My friend can heal as well, but I'm here to help.
Wonderful. Beds, such and such to such and such over there have yet to be seen. If you examine them, we can't heal the bite marks, it seems, but we can deal with the symptoms casually. We're still trying to work out what exactly it is. Then we came this morning. She kind of gestures you to that direction if you want
I'll
to
kind of
start
I'll
treating
whisper
something.
to you. I'll be like,
I'm not sure this is an illness or a curse. Has your healing worked so far?
We've not found it to work. We brought in the local cleric and we don't believe it to be a curse. It seems to be a disease. We're still running some tests. We'll find out in a few hours exactly what it is. For certain, though, you are more than welcome to.
Where have these young men been?
A terrible battlefield to the north. We don't know what they were doing there. By all accounts, it's far too south for the Canadian army. Perhaps a surprise attack, something aggression on. There was we've heard them speak of a terrible foe, a necromancer, some sort of magician, I thought.
I sniff undead.
Perhaps. The necromancer is certainly likely. Were you here for... were you volunteering to help out? Were you here for any other reason?
We can talk about my reasons after. I will go and see some of your wounded.
Okay. Would both of you please like to give me medicine checks? Another fun Pathfinder mechanic is called Taking 10 or Taking 15. If you roll with the dice and it lands less than whatever the number is, you can treat it as if it landed on it. So for this sort of a thing where you're looking over several people and you've got plenty of time, I'll let you both take 10 on a medicine check.
Okay.
So roll the dice to see if you get higher, get a 9 or lower, change your roll.
Before I do that, I've got a basic face mask in my gear, so I'll put the face mask on. 17, so medicine?
Medicine, yes.
21.
Yeah.
21?
17.
17. You still can't work out exactly what it is, but same thing I mentioned earlier with that 21 of it does some of the sort of things undead are going to carry. You can tell that, this is not going to end well if they don't work out. You can spend some time treating those people. We'll come back to you in a bit. Let's do Bigby. You head over to the town hall. Let's make Lewis shuffle. Town hall, very big building. Looks like it used to be a manor house of some kind, but a lot of the first floors have been kind of knocked down into public space and that sort of thing. And you pretty quickly after arriving there, if you're not doing anything else, are directed towards Lewis Shaw, his person, to be the chairman is the word that keeps getting used. So.
Okay.
You see they're kind of finishing up talking for the people. You see a kind of slightly older elf, not that they particularly wear their age, but big kind of mustache, kind of simple haircut. You see they finish up talking to one of the persons. They see you nearby and go, "Well, hello there,
Hello, my name's Bigby.
Bigby. Lovely to meet you, Bigby. I'm Lewis Short.
Nice to meet you, Lewis.
I don't remember seeing you around our fine neighborhood.
No, I'm very new to the area. In fact, I was
lovely.
told to come see you.
Are you seeking to move to our wonderful
I am.
Oh, well, we have a few bits of property around right now. I'd be delighted to help you settle in.
Fantastic, thank you.
Mind me asking, what sort of skills do you bring with you?
Well, I'm a detective,
Oh,
and I'm also quite handy in a fight.
well, you could be just the person we've been looking for.
Oh, excellent.
We had a terrible misfortune recently. Our town treasurer has disappeared.
Oh, that's no good.
Yes, exactly. They're, we don't know where they are.
And this is
okay.
where Bigby ends the campaign because now he's the town detective.
Well, I'd love to, if you can give me any information
By
on
all means,
the
a
topic.
dwarf by the name of Thory Black. I've got a portrait, you see, puts out a little portrait of Thory Black. This is very grim-looking dwarf, very kind of long face, medium beard, long war braid type things. Little on the older side, definitely, probably like the human equivalent of maybe like late 50s, early 60s even.
Mhm.
Vanished out of Scylla recently, I believe.
There's only so many names in the world.
That's why I'm just giving shit.
You see, he says, tell you what, if you could find him, it would go a long way to helping you get some property in this sort of place. I'd be delighted.
Excellent. So he was the treasurer?
He was the treasurer, yes. He kept track of the sort of thing. Lowmarsh here, we are run by the People's Committee of Lowmarsh.
Ah, okay.
Chairman, and there are 4 or 5 other people who sit aboard.
Do you think that-
Semi-elected body.
Do you have any suspects or anything?
As such, he was beloved by many. He kept track of the records for many years. He was the only one who could understand. He kept the logbook in Dwarvish, you see. And while I speak a few words, and there are a few others who do speak the language, he seems to have kept it very much for his own benefit.
Mm. Do you think it could be related to his job?
It's could be. Many people want gold.
Indeed. I will happily look into it for you.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Do you know where he was seen last?
By all accounts, in his home.
Okay. Does he live alone?
Yeah, indeed he does. We see the mayor says, I'll get you a key, and kind of asks one of the other couple of people, and it seems to be some sort of not quite a meeting, but like a planning session or something happening. Ask someone to run upstairs and grab a copy of that key of the treasury and the houses. He lived in the wing attached to the treasury.
Oh, okay.
We call it the big box, affectionately.
The big box.
You see on the map, big box, contains the town treasury and the gold, but also just the supplies and grain and that sort of stuff.
Yeah. So are you comfortable with me investigating his house?
By all means, in fact, you see he gets pen and paper and he just writes you a little note of Lewis Short, on behalf of the People's Committee of Lowmarsh, do authorise this carrier BB with the authority of the guard to investigate such and such, this, that, and the other. Gives you some technical documentation.
Yeah.
So you might find it useful to introduce yourself to our very own Officer Bradley. He's what passes for the law around here. He knows a few bits. He had some of his officers looking into it.
And where can I find him?
You'll find him in the Broken Bricks, the guardhouse over by the south. Near the east
Okay.
gate.
Thank you. I will head off there now.
Very well, good. Bigby, you heading straight there. Merida, you kind of wandering and getting a sense of town as you head there. You both arrive at roughly the same time. But before you arrive, we're going to talk with Sibylla. Sibylla, your cell does have a second bunk. They haven't put Nick in there though. And as it's kind of going through the day, what are you doing around?
Well, it's halfway between breakfast and lunch, so I'm kind of just sleeping at the moment.
So you see, you're woken up with your cell door kind of slamming shut as you see a very grim-looking soldier. They've had their armour and weapons taken away, but they've got the kind of messy, rough, ripped tabard of someone who's been in a fight. They're very grey and dour-looking in the face. As you see, they're kind of curled up in a corner, just shivering and twitching a little bit. You see the guard says, "I'll teach you to starting a fight." And then starts to head off.
And is the soldier sort of looking at me, or kind of looking at the ground?
They seem to be looking solidly in the middle distance, as they're just kind of twitching around a little. The mumbling almost sort of thing.
Sorry to tell you, pal, lunch isn't for another 2 hours.
As you see that, they kind of look at it. Lunch? Get some food. You got any food here? Got any food? You gotta give me some food. And see that point, they kind of get up and very wobbly shake their legs and start to kind of walk towards you.
Listen, buddy, if there was any food here, it would all be eaten up.
Got any food? Got any food here? Got any food here? Gotta have some food.
Who's your friend over there, little lady?
You're currently having a trippy dream.
You're at the bottom of the ocean.
You see at this point, just kind of walking slowly in front of your cell, you see your familiar, Sean. Like that. As you see, this guy says, you gotta have some food. And then goes from speaking to just kind of growling sort of noises as they lunge across the cell at you. What do you do, if anything? Panic is also accepted.
How do you protect yourself with no weaponry?
Well.
Yeah, your options are fairly limited. Yeah.
He takes a pillow to the face.
With my lack of anything, however,
Yeah.
I might just need to chill out, pal, and do a ray of frost.
Love that. That's an attack roll, I believe.
Chill out.
Chill.
There's some absolute so I make an attack roll.
He had so much fun with
So
that.
I just roll a d20.
You can
so
tell he was
you'll
having a
add
great
your
time.
Range spell attack, so that's +7.
That wasn't a good roll. I might use my
Hero point?
hero point.
By all means, probably a good point. One of the 2 hero points.
Much better. 26.
26. You fire a bolt of ice into this thing's chest. Give us the damage roll. And did you say 26?
Yes.
That's our first crit. You beat something's AC by 10. It is a crit.
So what does it
Double.
mean?
That's
You land a
crit
crit?
means you. So critting and Pathfinders, the damage is always double everything. So the dice and your modifier.
Oh, marvelous.
Double everything.
And on critical success, the target takes double damage and minus 10-foot status panel
Or
can
is
do
it-
its speeds for 1 round.
Fantastic.
Is that a critical, as in a critical hit?
Critical, yeah, so that's if
10
you beat
above.
the thing by 10.
Yep.
What, in fact, when you roll a 20 on the dice,
Yeah.
what I'm going to get everyone to do is add 10 to the roll. So if you roll a 20 and you have a
Oh,
plus
I
7
see, yeah.
modifier, what you've rolled is 47. Sorry, what you've rolled is 37.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you get it
So,
increases the
so
chance of
your
getting
likelihood,
critical
yeah.
success.
Yeah, so it, like, until you start encountering foes that are way beyond or way below you, it effectively will.
Oh yeah,
increase it
so
by
actually,
one.
so it means if you're facing something that you just like this, you might just not possibly get
Absolutely. So
through.
if you were to face a Tarrasque, so if you were to face a Tarrasque, you
Yeah.
couldn't hit, even
Yeah.
if you rolled a 20, because Tarrasque is like a 56 AC.
Yeah.
So none of you can break it. Damage?
Like it.
That would be 14 damage.
14 damage. Incredible.
Almost enough to
You
kill off.
fire that off. I tell you what, we'll do this in vaguely sort of combatish terms. So that's your first of 3 actions. You've got 2 other actions you can take if you want to. You get that
Do you
with
want
that
combat
speed
music?
penalty from the crit. You see
Do
it
you want
slow
combat
down. Up.
music?
It's not going to reach you as it's
Do you want me
going
to put
towards you.
Let's put some combat.
Okay, well, I'm going to get off my bed then and walk over to the gate.
For sure. You jump up, run to the gate. That's a move action. You see your familiar just kind of looks up, looks you in the eyes as you're standing there.
I'll probably indicate for it to come down and be with me.
You see your familiar, so most of the time your familiar will follow the rules of this. It's a physical animal. So this is an odd thing to see, as your familiar just walks through the bars and into your cage. And you see then looks over to this emaciated, grey-skinned soldier, frothing and foaming at the mouth. Looks at them as you see they just explode into dust as they vanish. You see Shan then turns to you, their head shaking a little bit as you see their 2 cat-like eyes split off into 4 and then split off into 6. You see the room is engulfed in shadow as suddenly those 6 eyes become 3 heads as you see standing before you a visage of your patron, the 3-faced lady. This incredibly elegant woman and 3 heads, one of a younger woman, one middle-aged, and one elderly crone. Precisely.
Ah,
Better known as the Mori.
As you see there, it's kind of
Fantastic.
filled with invitation.
The Mori going to make it out basically.
yes. Sibylla is very, I guess, stuck in the spot looking. I think it's very unexpected.
Yeah, for sure.
It's not something she's encountered before.
You see, you definitely would have, like, you would have had to, like, make contract with this entity to get your powers, but that's more like sending a letter to someone to get a parcel in return.
I know who it is,
You
but
don't really talk
yeah.
with them.
Yeah.
It's like if you suddenly could, like, talk to your bank as a actual entity, rather than, interacting in various minor ways. Yeah, it's like, it's such and such broad, strange group manifesting before you. But you see there, very simply, you see the youngest of the 3 heads says, "Oh, sorry to see what happened to you." The middle says, "Your situation is not great." And the older one says, "You bloody fool!" You see again, the youngest says, "We have a task for you. We must ask a favour. You must obey." So they continue speaking in this very similar way of fairly pleasant, middling, cruel but to the point. You must get out of here, head eastwards into the woods for 2 hours, and then journey north. You shall find a ritual you must stop. So the youngest says, "We shall give you a small favour, free of charge, but only this once." The middle says, "We will aid you on your journey." The older says, "Don't rely on this in the future." As you see the door just inexplicably
Pops
opens. As the vision fades back away, and your little cat is left just standing on the ground.
What colour is the cat?
Black.
Now,
Gotta be a black cat.
as you stand in the cell, the door wide open. What would you like to do?
I'll start heading towards the gate with the cat.
Yep.
Um,
You see, lying on the ground, covered in salt water in the cell next to you, Nick Jones. You don't need to do anything with that, but that's what's there.
So am I conscious at this point?
You're waking up. In fact, give me a fortitude saving throw. Let's see how you are.
I've got those.
DC
Oh, I'm good.
15.
I'm good at those too. Yeah, no, I'm not awake. That was a 9.
9. You're not crit fail, so you're not completely asleep, but you're pretty groggy. You're probably like, like that sort of half up thing when you're trying to work out why you're not still asleep.
While he's laying there asleep, I'll look at the tray of food that he hasn't touched yet and grab the bread roll off his plate and just start munching away.
Wonderful. You start heading out. You can
Maybe the cat can kind of indicate that this guy is, I don't know, I shouldn't just walk past him.
Love that. Yeah, sure thing. Cat goes to try to do the same thing where it just walks behind the bars earlier, and it doesn't seem that it's been allowed to do this time, so it just is back to being a physical cat.
Okay.
We'll cut away from you guys for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Out the front of the Broken Bricks, the Broken Bricks is a large stone building, doubles as kind of the guard house, the prison, and a few other bits and pieces. The armory will be in there somewhere. Which will arrive more or less at the same time. There's kind of 2 guards stationed out front. Not really a place to come in. I'll say no, you probably get there a few minutes earlier.
Hello, we meet again.
Hello.
What brings you to this side of town?
I'm seeking a friend of a friend.
Oh, okay. I'm here to do some investigation.
Oh, what are you investigating?
Apparently, the treasure of the town has gone missing.
Well, that's never good.
No.
I don't know what my father would do without the treasure.
Who's your father?
We're from up north.
Oh, okay.
No.
I gathered as much. Fair enough. Well, after you.
And I would go and talk to the guards, I
Yeah,
guess.
you see the guard at the front says, can I help you? We don't generally allow public in here.
I was told a friend of a friend might be around this area.
Any of your... Do they work as a guard?
Not that I've been aware of.
The only other people in here are detainees. Down to your friend would be amongst them. If you chose to keep good company.
I keep the best company.
No doubt your friend is here.
Very well.
Do you have a name of this friend?
Did I get given a name?
No.
No. Did I get given a description of the friend? No.
You know that they're a fellow witch. So, not exactly, but like, you could guess work.
Yeah. I have no name nor description. But I know they are of magical background.
Haha, you fool! You fall.
Sorry. We're still going.
This is great at music. You see the guard
Who
says,
knows?
a very close friend of yours, I take it.
Very close friend of my friend, yeah.
Right. Well, I can't help you much. If you think they might know, you could speak with the officer, I suppose. Very well. And
I'll
what's your
show him
business?
my papers and say, like, I'm here on business from
Fair
what do you
enough.
call it, the council.
And
And,
I imagine you want to speak with the officer as well. Then.
Indeed.
Right, come on through. You see, they take you through in, it's very much, first floor is all the guards, and then the dungeons are below ground, obviously, a nice spooky down cellar. Guard house, that sort of thing, kind of a police station type of vibe. People, going through, changing notes, putting on, and lots of spears about the place. Take you-
Marida's definitely getting a little overwhelmed because she's not used to kind of this size of place, I reckon.
Oh, this place would be much smaller than where you're from.
How much smaller?
Yeah, this is one of the smallest villages. Tiny towns don't really exist in this setting, just because there's so few places for people to actually build and congregate.
Okay. Well, then she wouldn't be walking around confused then.
It's probably one of the few places you've been at that you wouldn't be going. It's like, this is kind of small and manageable.
Okay.
The total number of guards here is less than 20. So it's not a big thing. You head upstairs to a little office, and you again see Officer Bradley. Great big brick of a man, very squared chin, short shaved head, in plate armor despite being in his own office. So he just stands up as you come in and says, hey, yes, what can I do for you?
Officer, has he introduced
Bradley.
himself? Bradley.
Brendan Bragg.
Big B, sir.
Officer at arms.
Give a really good, strong handshake.
You mean athletics check?
Yes, I was about to say handshake check. There's
my
better handshake. You do a vibe check of a handshake?
Absolutely.
That's a dirty 20.
Dirty 20, that is a 25 from him. He has a
Okay.
big gun. I'll also say, for benefit for these sorts of skill checks, even a level 1 creature can roll a 30 with a good thing because of the way skills work in this.
Yeah.
So, lower your expectations around that sort of stuff. A DC 25 in this, not a big deal. But yeah, they give you a big, proper handshake. They've got a big, solid grip.
Good.
And they say, what can I do for you?
I talked to your councilman and was was told of a treasurer that has gone missing. I'm here to offer my detective services.
This is bringing in a bit of help, is it? Yeah.
Indeed.
Well, there's a few things. Are you working on that as well?
No,
fair
in a
enough.
different mission.
Fair enough. I'll discuss that with you in
Yeah.
private in a moment.
Sure.
What can I do now?
I am currently on an adventure to try and find a located friend of a friend. Does this kind of deal much with witches?
Lowmarsh has gotten by without anyone skilled in that particular thing for a while. I'm going to do an insight check against you. They're not going to do a very good job. He says, we did arrest someone recently we suspect of being versed in that kind of thing.
What did we arrested for?
They snuck into town after hours and were thieving, did you say?
Yeah.
So we caught them with their hand in the supply bag, that sort of thing. Not tolerated here.
Oh, of course not. I would never imagine it would be tolerated.
The size farms are struggling enough as it is.
Of course.
What was your business with this person?
What was my business? They're trying to find.
You were given extremely vague. You were told. You were told.
I
to,
was
like,
just told to
help
work
them.
with them.
You were told that your mentor, Bella,
Yeah.
trained under the same grandmother.
Yeah.
Grandmother being like rank of the witch.
Okay.
The highest rank. You can make something up here. You can give a vague answer, but you can do a skill check if you like.
I reckon Meridel would probably say something along the lines of, I'm seeking a friend of a friend who seems to have lost their way, and I wish to help them and get back onto the right track.
Yeah, I'm going to call that a persuasion check, or you can use deception if you want. That's what you're going for.
No, I feel like
Meanwhile, downstairs, Sibylla, you have a pretty distinct problem, which is that you're like 2 levels below ground, so there's no one really here, but you can't exit the building without walking through like the main lobby, where there will definitely be a bunch of people.
Yeah.
What's the move, do you
what is
diplomacy, sorry.
Diplomacy.
Thing. It's going to be a lot to start with.
I could talk my way out of it potentially.
Possible.
I'm using my hero thing.
Using your hero point, lovely.
That's
I'll
the
let you
nat
mark
one.
them off.
I can sort of communicate with my familiar.
And that's a nat 20.
Yeah, so you can the familiars inside, you can telepathically communicate with them. They can't respond. So you can. They have like near human intelligence, but they can't directly communicate with you. So you could say like, "Go grab that thing off the shelf," and they could do it, but they can't be like, "Oh, let's brainstorm an idea." You know what I mean?
So is there? So I'm in like I'm assuming it's like a row of cells or something, and
Yeah,
I'm
it's like
in the
4 or
corridor.
5 cells on 2 levels underground for that, and then end of the thing, there's stairs that go up.
So I'm not trapped in at the moment.
You're not trapped in. The problem is that you just can't leave the building without going up the 2 flights of stairs to the main lobby and then out the door there. Because you're underground, you can't really slip out a back door or a window or nothing. What was that percent? Diplomacy
An
check?
actual 20 with a +3, so 23.
Wonderful. So 33. 20. Awesome. Usually they say, oh, well, very well. I suppose there's something I can make an exception. I don't usually let people see visitors, but I'll allow. Come with me. You're Big B, was it? Jesse.
Sorry?
Big B, was it?
Yes. Big.
You're not in any terrible hurry, are you?
No.
Wonderful. I'll just supervise this. I'll just supervise a visitation really quick. In fact, come through. I'd love to show you our facilities, get your opinion. If
Sure.
you're thinking of doing something.
That'd be
So you're an investigator, are you?
I am.
Oh, interesting. If you don't mind me asking, what brings you to town? Just seeing your friend, or?
Yes, just locating.
Ah. Fair enough. You see, the three of you start to head downstairs. Sibylla, you're down there. Nick, you're also conscious and eloquent at this point, and I'm not going to make you roll. You can see Sibylla is fully out of her cell.
Open your door, little one.
Oh, you're awake, Salty.
Look, I just had a very weird dream, so just leave me be. How did you get your door open?
Oh, well, that's not exactly the sharpest steel around. And I begin to look at the bars on his cell, and can I see if there's if there's any that are kind of rusty?
Give me a check of some kind. Let me check what the thing is.
Check with some kind.
Yes. Now, I'd like you to roll a dice to determine the result.
Crafty.
Well, just roll to start with.
What is the proficiency?
I don't have investigation.
Perception.
What about crafty?
Survival?
Ryan,
These
can
are double
you look up the
barrel
rules
hinges.
for me on
With the right application of strength, I can free the door.
I think it's called solve a clue or pursue a lead or one of those two.
Okay.
If
No,
not,
I'm
just
the
look
one
up the
inspecting
uses
the
for-
bars.
No, I'm just
Yeah,
saying
just
Ryan
looking
is
at the
rules.
Mm.
For the moment, we'll call it perception check.
Okay, 15.
15?
Yeah.
You can see there are some that are worse for wear, but they'd still require a hell of a lot of just raw, smashing energy or something to get through them. There's no structural weakness you can find with a 15.
Okay, I was going to do an acid splash on any rust and see if it eats away at that.
Acid splash will eat away at metal. You could certainly give it a go.
What's the lock mechanism looking like?
It's a fairly simple, pretty simple lock.
Investigates perception.
Okay.
Unless it's about something specific, like if it was about a religion or something, you need to do a
Yeah,
religion
yeah.
check.
Okay, cool.
Well, I might put my finger in the lock and do an acid splash.
Oh, I love that. That's a little bit of a different use of your usual spell. You are an occultist spellcaster, I believe.
Yep.
Wonderful. Can you give me an occultism check there? Skill check.
Oh, yes. 16.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll allow it. Give me a spell attack roll, or is it a save that acid splash?
It's a spell attack roll.
Wonderful. Make it then.
That's a 26.
Ooh, 26. You
Do
finger
I
in.
have to roll a damage on the... What,
I'm not going to make you roll the damage. Oh, what damage does acid splash do?
1d6.
Yeah, no, that's fine. You see, acid fills this lock. There's a terrible hissing sound as it spits out the other end into Nick's cell. And you see the locking mechanism is destroyed. The door just kind of creaks open a little. Easy to leave your cell.
So here's the big problem we've got to deal with. How are we getting out?
Well, could let my friend help guide the way, but hang on. I can hear footsteps.
I was literally about to say, that point you hear footsteps, and
You
hear
know
the
what? I'm going to sit
familiar
right here on my cot
booming
and
voice of Bradley.
You know what? It's almost lunchtime. And I go walking back to my cell.
Yeah. I mean, that'll work for you. Yours unlocked by magical means. You can just close it and lock again.
Yeah.
Nick, your cell where the lock was now has a great big acid mark.
Give it to me.
What do you do?
Something you can do.
he's going to act like he hasn't noticed. He just doesn't. He has no idea.
Oblivious.
Shuts the door in such a way that it stays closed.
Deception check or performance, I'll allow you to do as well. You see, as you're walking down, you see Officer Bradley saying to you, Murder, you any skill with that bow at all?
I sure am.
If you're looking for work, we could always use more able-bodied fighters in these times.
17.
Rumours of scouts from the south coming up ahead. 17?
17.
The filthy southerners. Bet you they're English.
Then Lord, take our freedom.
The Irish Braveheart.
Did you say 17, right?
17.
17. Cool. That we'll resolve that in a second. You see they head in,
Wicked pilot
and
all
you see
over
they
again.
kind of pretty immediately caught that your cell's broken. And they don't like draw weapons, but they do take kind of a defensive stance near the stairway, kind of stopping anyone who's going to run out and say,
Right, so-
Nick, what's going on?
Yes.
I got no bloody idea. I didn't do it.
Well, who did? Key didn't melt, the lock didn't, whatever it's on itself.
You think if I could do that, I wouldn't have got out of here already?
Things like me, another deception check if you reset cards.
Oh, that's much better. 23.
You see, he doesn't believe you. You can tell that he's not being particularly quiet about it. In his face, when he says, "Alright, look, I've got guests here at the moment. Can I trust you not to do anything stupid if I put you in a different cell? Do I need to go call more guards in?" See,
I'm not causing you any trouble.
you see, he walks up, opens your cell door, broken the cell door, goes over, unlocks the lock next to it, and says, "Come on," puts in, locks it in, keys away. You see, like, you've been in jail for a couple of days. You've been treated pretty well, certainly compared to like other jails you would have been in. You're not being randomly beat up or anything like that.
That's just why he's cooperating.
So you're right, fair enough.
He just didn't want to dump this one in for breaking his lock.
As you're on, you see, says, Sibylla, we've got a visitor for you.
I sort of
See, Brad
pretended
walks
I'd been asleep. Oh, what?
you see, Merida walks out, who would be someone you would not recognise at all. You have no idea who this person is. Actually, give me a history check real
Yeah.
quick.
And as soon as that happens, you hear Nick from the back corner. Hey, little one, who's your hot little red-headed friend?
Merida would kind of fling around and kind of just give a glare.
Sorry,
I meant no offense, little
How do I
one.
do a history check?
Is history a skill?
How often do you see a redhead bouncing around these
What
areas?
idiot asked for a history check? Society check, my apologies, a society check.
Ah,
Which I
okay.
think only Merida
Oh,
Is that one?
yeah.
Oh,
So it's a 5 total.
Five and then that one. Yeah, you have no idea who this person is. You don't even recognise the colours they're wearing or anything like that. Merida, would you be wearing like the flag, crest, or colours of your house or anything like that?
Merida would not be traveling the country with that on display, but she would have it on her to provide it whenever it is.
You see Brad kind of motions over there and then gestures for you, Jesse, kind of
Yeah.
says, "Let's talk over the other side." They can't leave here without coming up and says, "If you need anything, just call." He takes you. You two are left alone to chat. Nick, you're in eavesdropping
Yeah,
range.
well, Nick could turn around with his hands thrown up in the air. You try to give someone a compliment. What is this world coming to? And go sit on the cot.
What is it?
So Merida would kind of check that the guard has gotten to the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, he's definitely not somewhere where he like certainly can't hear you. He's kind of doing a kind of polite space thing.
Yeah, okay,
But
that's
seems to want to have a quiet conversation with people up the kind of like
Okay.
halfway up the stairs.
wonderful. I'll turn to you and say, "Oh, my friend, it seems you might have lost your way a bit."
Well, what's it to you?
Well, it may not be important to me, but it is certainly important to Bessa. Whom you may know from your time with.
Done. So, can you give me a society check? And Sibylla, did you take what were the law skills you took again?
That's another natural 20!
I took curses, one terrain, and potion law.
Think you're going to be the whole role of this game, not me.
Wonderful.
Oh.
Give us a. You can use
Might be a
wisdom,
change.
you can
No.
use
The
society.
aura has moved from
The
there.
aura has moved.
Shifted one.
The dice gods have
20,
abandoned me.
25.
25 will absolutely. You know, Bessa's a particularly old witch. Even, so she's in 200 and something years old. Very well lived. She studied under Nimue.
Splat in the face.
My reaction as well.
Close as a teaspoon. Nimue, who you would know was set to be the All Mother Hand, very important to the queen of witches, basically. Very powerful, very knowledgeable. Nimue, known for being one of the most intelligent witches in history. Your mentor studied Nimue many, many years back when she was just a grandmother, so still very well recognized, but not quite to the extreme heights she got to. Chris, either of those checks, what did you get?
I got a 12.
With a 12, you don't recognize the name Bessa. You can guess, though, you would, if you're happy to have also studied under this person some time ago. This witch by the name of Nimue has since disappeared from the kind of hag witch coven world, vanished without a trace, gone into hiding. So,
I guess it is.
You could-
Sibylla's very skeptical
fair.
of strangers and things like that.
Yeah.
So
Totally
it's like,
understandable.
so I may have, but well, let's get to the point here. What do you want?
I'm here to help you. I should say
Well,
quietly.
Can you give me either a survival check or an animal lore check?
So the extra lures we still get proficiency with.
Yeah, you still get position proficiency, so use your one of your other skills to roll.
That's a 10.
It's a 10. Using, as you're having this skepticism, Sibylla, Sean wanders up over to Merida and starts kind of rubbing against her leg and way cast.
Sean, what are you doing?
Merida would reach
You're
out.
playing that.
Give her a little tap.
You guys, let me check. Actually, Ryan, can you give me send me a copy of the rules on Familiars? You can find it. You just want to send it to me on messages if possible. Your intuition is that Shan, or more likely your patron, is indicating that you should trust this person. You don't have to do that way.
I give like a bit of a resigned sigh. Listen here, love. Right here, I get a bed, 3 hot meals a day. What this proposition to get out sent to you? What do I get for it?
You're free.
Sweetheart, I can melt the cell doors. I could have got out a week ago.
Then you'll hear Nick pipe up and go, and just like try to wave to get your attention and go, and point at his cell door that's melted.
Are you two still trying to get out of prison?
Of course he's
It's like, I've done all my call and you're still trying to get out of
I'm
prison.
just fulfilling what my teacher
Someone
wanted me
melted
to
my
do.
lock and I got
Does
busted
the
for
teacher
it.
also want to make sure that I'm well fed each day?
Well, my
And have
teacher
a roof
didn't.
over my
That
head?
was not necessarily the most detailed,
Look at your clothes. I'm sure you can ensure that.
but I can assure you a safe place to live for the rest of your days.
I pull open the door and go, well, let's go then.
Come
on, Sean.
No, and I would kind of hold the gate shut, and but not yet.
We jump to the other side of that corridor, specifically out of hearing range of.
While that's happening, Nick's got his hand outside, just outside through the bars, going, like, take me too.
I'd like to also AB, can you give me, please, a. What were the 2 law skills you took? Just remind me real quick. It was labour
Law
and.
skills. Architecture.
Labour and architecture, the ones you have.
Yeah.
Cool, in that case, can you give me a society check?
Society check.
Are you trained in society checks?
Yes.
Wonderful.
That will be a 14.
14. You recognise the person in the cell you passed earlier, just coming down here, is Nick Jones. You would have worked for his father, the word we're using? Uncle, to describe him?
He'd be treating look like his dad.
Okay, yeah. I'm going to use the word father.
Not biological.
You would have worked for his father a couple of years ago on a case to track someone down.
Yeah.
I imagine, I'm not going to roll like a thing super cool there, but you kind of clock and say, oh, that's where I know this person. They're familiar to me.
Right.
That doesn't carry with it anything in particular, but you know who this person is.
Cool.
And you see Officer the treasurer is a bit of an odd one. We're really quite stumped, which probably means it wasn't any of the usual things. You know, he didn't wander off into the woods or anything stupid. He's not been kidnapped and held for ransom. It's been too long. I'm beginning to worry he maybe was caught up in something quite serious and it went bad for him. We've heard reports, unconfirmed, it's strictly between you and I, that there might be crooked men activity in town. You can roll a society check on crooked men for some more information, or even if you crit fail, you're going to know this.
That's an 18.
Beautiful. Crooked men, big criminal organisation over all of Ardenland, all of the country around here.
Like
very
organised crime.
Organised crime.
Yeah.
They're the
Okay.
big thing, really big on like debtors and that sort of thing. They will loan people money in desperate situations and then get a penny of flesh for a penny of overdue rates and that sort of thing.
know a criminal.
Yeah, you've almost certainly in your work as an investigator come across them in some capacity.
Yeah.
Be that they would have offered you work, most likely in Xander. They've got a huge presence there, or you've probably like tracked down people they've kidnapped.
Yeah.
But you would immediately know they're a big deal. You don't mess with them unless you're ready to take on a well-funded criminal.
Do you think it's likely that there are any members of this organisation in the town?
I don't know who it would be, but it is possible.
Yeah.
My concern is that if that's the case, there's not a lot we can do about it. He's likely halfway across the country, or
Indeed.
buried in a ditch deep in the woods where we're not going to find him.
What have you learned so far in your investigation?
I'm afraid the short answer is next to nothing. We've ruled out a lot of common things.
Yeah.
We've searched this place many times. As far as we can tell, he was there on the night he disappeared about 2 weeks ago, and then he wasn't. Which means either he was taken or he's still there.
So was he supposed to be at work the next day? How did you discover he was missing?
The big box didn't open in the morning for the usual farm collection like it would. People started poking around until the master key got taken from town hall and opened up, and no sign.
When the master key from town hall, what did
Yeah, one of the copies in town hall that's kept with the.
and that's gone.
No, we still have that.
Oh, you still have that.
That wasn't taken. So the
Oh, so you
People's
use that
Committee
to go in.
to get into the thing. Usually
Was there-
he would have the other.
Was there gold missing?
We haven't been able to get into the treasury. He has the other copy to the treasury.
Oh,
So
okay.
we've been locked in. We could knock the door down, but frankly, it's expensive, and we haven't needed to access it, so we're hoping we find
Okay.
it rather than damaging a very
Sure.
expensive vault.
Fair enough. Have you had any luck, or has anyone had any luck in deciphering the dwarfish that he wrote in his ledger?
We had a traveller come through who spoke a bit of it.
Yeah.
They suggested to us it was written in a kind of personal shorthand. We don't
Okay.
think it's malicious, we just think it's the fact that he'd been doing this for 40 years.
Yeah.
You see, he goes through and gives you a couple more of those kind of granular details, that sort of thing.
Mhm.
I'll let you take 15 on like history checks to remember any of that sort of stuff. Yeah, so you.
I got exactly 15.
Yeah.
Well, actually, no, I rolled a 15, so history was that.
So take 15 to do with the dice's total, not the skill total. So
Oh, okay, then yeah.
But not a history check, sorry. Yeah. Anyway, you can remember all those details that he gives you the granular sort of stuff as you're talking.
Yeah.
I'll
Cool.
let you know if any of that becomes
It's relevant, yeah,
in the future.
sure.
You see, he says, look, if you're looking around, you've got my support. If you want to take some of the guard with you, we can probably spare one, maybe two people. But,
For now, thank you for the offer, but I don't think it'll be necessary. But I may take you up on it later.
fair enough. And,
I will
good.
start by checking the last place he was seen, his home, as I've heard.
Sibylla, as you open your cell door, can you give me a stealth check?
Oh, I tried to.
My apologies, you did
Yeah,
indeed, so don't worry about
yeah.
that. That was a really smart
Yeah, went to hold it shut and said,
Can
not
sort
yet.
of- Can I whisper to the?
Not yet, and then like head kind of going like that.
Can I whisper to? I don't know your name yet, but
Yeah, I introduced myself.
okay. Sorry. Merida. It's actually time we did come. Now I think of it. I do actually need to get out of town to do something. Are you headed out of town?
I will be heading out shortly. Yes.
Right. Maybe you can help me.
Back over at the hospital.
Yeah.
I'll let the two of you take 15 on medicine check. Why do we get a feeling this can get left in
this check.
15 on a medicine
Yeah,
check.
so you roll it.
Yeah.
I think it's
It's,
Yeah. 17.
15, 22.
17 including the modifier.
Very curious to see how you get
22.
this all
Yep.
together. Working on the same thing. Because the
After
mind
a
we're
lot-
all kind of going.
Sorry, a little quiet, please. After looking over a lot of people there, you start looking over some of the later stage stuff. You start to tell that there are some people who look to be about like halfway through this. You're seeing that the healing isn't working properly; it's ineffective. They seem to be weak, as in they have reduced maximum hit points, mechanically speaking. And whatever this is seems to be have been in there for a couple of days in the worst of the people. You recognize that this is ghoul fever, which is a disease spread by ghouls, a particular type of undead, when they bite or eat. It's also sometimes called walking rot, because this is the other thing you have actually too. If people die when they have this disease from the condition, they will rise to ghouls, which are fairly chaotic, evil, undead monstrosities. What would the two of you like to do after you spend a bit of time in there healing? I'm going to assume you're not using any of your resources for that, your lay on hands sort of thing.
No.
I'd just be inspecting with my ghouls tools.
You can definitely do a bit of spot trimming without I won't make you roll for it.
Yep. I go up to the matron and go, this is ghoul fever, walking rot.
You see takes it and says, I worried it might have been something like that. I was hoping that they were mistaken when they thought it was the undead that attacked them, but if that's the case, we need to make some difficult decisions around treatment.
What do you mean difficult decisions?
If this is in fact ghoul rot, the dead here are going to rise as monsters. Is the only
I
word
would
for it, and
burn
everyone
them all.
else's life will be- Precisely, yes. We could burn them. We could turn them outside the hospital and leave them to the elements. I'm not sure which of those is the cooler option.
You can't do that.
Neither can we treat them yet.
You can't just let them die. It
I-
could be reversed, maybe.
There are things that are worse than death. Many of these men are seeing what that is. They would be better to burn.
Knowing it's ghoul rot, I'll let you both make another medicine check to recall if you know anything else about it. The matron is going to effectively give both of you the help action, which gives you a +1 to the roll. Help
Okay.
action works a little differently in Pathfinder, but we'll get to that when we do it.
I'm going to use my hero points.
Wonderful.
Crit, so that would be 28 in total with her +1.
Little louder, sorry.
So it'll be a 28 in total with a crit on the dice.
Incredible. 28 with crit.
Unless we're doing a plus.
No, sorry,
No.
it's probably just better to say
Yeah.
total as a crit. 28 crit, you know that there is in fact something you can do to heal ghoul fever. If you can find one of the ghouls that this was originally contracted from and bring it back alive, they can extract some effectively essence from it, spinal tap sort of thing, and use that to brew oil that will cure these soldiers. You have to bring back alive.
Mordred will immediately turn to you and be like, we have to do it. I've seen that you've got abilities.
But I know that that's how you treat it.
I'm
Oh,
afraid
you
with the
haven't
23, you don't actually have that information. So,
Fair.
Drizella, you know that that's the
Mordred is
case.
silent.
Whether you share that is your
Yeah.
business.
Yeah, no, I'll share it.
Um,
Yeah. There is a way. It is less efficient than the burning, but you may find it more palatable. We need to find the ghoul that inflicted these wounds and collect it without killing it. And she looks at the matron and goes, And can you perform the...
I'm familiar with this process. If you can bring us back alive, ghoul, I could do it. I would not send any of my metacasters to face that.
If I can bring you back alive, ghoul, may I join the Metacasters?
You need persuasion, diplomacy check.
Oh, not my strong suit. We shall see.
Not really surprised.
That's like legitimately not my
So,
strong suit.
Pathfinder, to give a help action, you need to make the skill check yourself and hit a DC 20.
Can
So
I?
you can attempt a
Meh.
diplomacy check DC 20.
And I'll be like, she's done a lot of good. I've seen it.
9.
You have amazing metacaster.
9.
Diplomacy.
Yeah.
21.
21, so that does, you do hit that, so you can add 1 to your roll.
10.
The thing
So
is that
worth
it's that everyone can give a help action. So in theory, if you were all working on one goal,
That's
some
fine.
5
Okay.
plus 5.
Yeah.
Everyone can just be like,
So yeah, help is a lot
You
less
can
effective
do
with
it,
one
you can
person
do
helping, but everyone doing it can be great.
Yeah.
With a 10, you see she says, I can't commit to that answer now, but it would certainly go a long way. If you could also show you possessed the 4 humors and the skills, I would certainly consider it.
Let's go find a ghoul.
Do the two of you think you can handle that alone? Either of you want to can give me a recall knowledge check.
I've got warfare law. Could I put that towards it?
No, it's about knowing what tools are like.
Yeah.
Undead, a religion check for undead.
16.
16,
21.
21. Pretty confident that'll do it. Let me just check.
I speak ghoul.
With a 21.
Maybe I could
You know
persuade
that
the ghoul.
both of you
You
tracking
probably
down
are
a ghoul
better.
would be a tough fight. You could handle it for sure. Like it wouldn't be deadly, but it would be very difficult.
Okay.
Just the two of you.
Do I, with my 21, think that my high-level diplomacy skills and fluent undead would help in negotiating? Would you like to come back and be murdered at the hospital?
There are broadly speaking 3 types of undead. There are
Yeah.
the truly intelligent ones who have their own agency,
And then there's
They can be
ghouls.
reasoned and negotiated,
Yeah.
like vampires.
Yep.
There are the truly mindless, like zombies,
Zombies.
and a few others who have not only don't have thoughts of their own, but are limited to doing certain things that their creator gives them. And then there's the third sort, which ghouls fall into, whose only desire is to inflict the suffering they themselves feel. Feeding, eating, destroying, killing. Negotiating with a ghoul is completely impossible.
Like a really emo kid.
I'll ask the matron, do you know anyone who could help us?
I'm afraid my abilities lie in fixing injuries, not causing them. I could suggest you could maybe convince some of the town guard into this mission,
Where could
but
we find them?
they're over in the Broken Bricks.
He's
Directions. There is another option. You'd need to speak with the mayor, but we do currently have some people I know being kept in jail. Previously, we have allowed prisoners to work off their sentences. This would certainly be a grand enough task. But you'd have to speak with the mayor on such a
I would be happy to keep prisoners under control
But maybe we
for...
should give them a second chance.
Well, upon agreeing to do this, as long as they do in fact complete it, they would be getting their
If they...
Kindness or
if they-
naivety?
If they tried to run, we can prevent that, I think.
Oh, we have means of keeping them close by.
Excellent.
Fresh out of the seminary.
But you have to talk to the mayor for such a thing.
Good in the world.
Okay. To the guardhouse
really
or the mayor?
Criminal.
To the guardhouse or the mayor?
So the mayor would allow us to kill
The mayor could give you authority, or you could ask the captain of the guard for some, like, if anyone will volunteer.
to the mayor.
To the mayor.
You guys head to the mayor. Back in the dungeon, Sibylla and Merida, how did you end your discussion to action? What are your, or you can continue, what are you going to do?
Well, as Sibylla tried to open the door, Merida would kind of quickly go, not yet. I will come for you when the time is right.
After lunch?
That might be when the time is right.
Oh, great. Let's go and lay back on the bed.
And then,
Look salty over there, might need your help.
yeah, I was about to say Merida would turn around. Is Nick in the cell right across?
Not
Okay,
adjacent,
so
but two adjacent.
this
The one
is where we
adjacent
were.
has a
I'm over here.
lock, and
Okay,
the one
yeah,
more
okay,
over
that's fine.
has-
So Merida would turn around and say, don't worry, I will get you out too.
That'd be bloody wonderful.
Do you hear it? Big. After you finish off getting those kind of details from the officer, if there's any other questions, you can ask those. Otherwise, what are you up to next?
I'm gonna start heading to the treasurer's place.
Yeah, by all means. You head over that way. That'll take a bit of time. We'll probably get to that next session, just because it is 5:30 now, finishing hard on 10 tonight.
Yep, no drama.
But the long and short of it is going to be giving you a perception check. I'll let you take, we'll put 10 to start with now, and then if you spend like 2 hours there, we'll maybe go up to a 50. So the dice is less than 10.
That's more.
Awesome, so just add another 5 as well.
That'll be 21.
21, nice. Let me see what level of information you get. There's a lot of tables and numbers here. You say 21?
Yeah.
That'll be level 5 worth of information. Here's the long and short of it. The captain of the guard had about this same sort of thing. So again, similar thing. There's no sign of a forced entry. There's no blood anywhere. More to that, you're like, if someone else had been here who wasn't the treasurer, they were a ghost. Like they were either there hasn't been someone, or there's been someone who is incredibly good at what they were doing, of like getting in quietly, either snatching the mail or something. Something else that does occur to you that's like pretty severely unlikely but possible. You see the big boxes, 3 big warehouses of storage, more like a silo almost, and then the front like accounting house, taxation offices, that sort of thing, and then the treasury kept in a kind of bunker underneath. The bunker door is a great big steel door with secured locks and that sort of thing, great big vault handles and everything. It's entirely possible if they haven't been inside the vault room since this all started, the treasurer could be in there, would be the other solution.
Oh,
to
yeah,
this whole
true.
thing. You'd have to get in the vault room.
Yeah.
Which the only key for which is on the treasurer. Is what
Yeah.
you understood from the discussion with Officer Brown. I should say, that's what you get there. Do you want anything else you'd like to do after you do that investigation? That probably takes a bit of time. Looking around, you collect your
No,
stuff.
not really. Probably just, yeah. I guess I could try to see if I can get the vault open, see if it's not just
Yeah,
like,
for sure. Do you? So usually a vault you would
try.
need to put a key in that would then move a thing that will allow you to turn the great big spin wheel thing and open it.
Yeah.
You don't have that key.
Yeah.
How do you go about trying to open this?
I just see if like it's
these
loose
tools
or if there's any like if it's come apart or if
Yeah, for
there's-
sure.
yeah.
Give me either a thievery check or a perception check.
Any of us rogues?
You do not have a rogue, no.
I'm probably the closest thing you got.
That's only a 10.
With a 10, you go through. Had you the key, you could open this with a 10,
Yeah.
but without it, not much luck.
No, yeah, okay.
You can try and.
I was
grab
mostly just checking to see if it was just open and no one's really checked it. But yeah.
No, it seems like it is. In fact, look,
It
you
is
can try and
like it.
brute force the thing open. That would require something in the 40s or an athletics check.
Yeah, no, I won't bother with that. Because
Yeah,
I also don't really want to resort to that unless I have to.
Yeah. Fair enough. We will leave you there for the moment.
Yeah, that's fine. Move on.
Over in the mayor's office, I think. Actually, sorry, Merida. The whole thing, at the right time, I'll try to get you out as well. What was Merida heading next?
Merida would probably. I reckon Merida would probably try and find the companions that she found on the caravan. These two, their characters. Mind blanking.
Yeah, for sure.
Sadly,
The
names.
armored human and the
Yeah.
person in the cloak within the shop. You recall them saying they were going to the hospital.
Yeah.
You could certainly head that way. You see, the three of you actually bump into each other in another part of town I'll introduce, which is the Basilisk Court. Great big stone courtyard in the middle of which a great monstrous snake creature of stone, a big statue of it, stands reared up on its hind legs, kind of in an action pose sort of thing. You see a plaque nearby on the ground. And the three of you kind of enter the court, and some of you heading to the hospital, two of you heading to the town hall. You'll recognize each other as having travelled together.
Mordred will be like, "Hi again."
Hello. How are you finding the city so far?
It's kind of sick. There's a plague that's happening, and we need to find a cure. So we're going to the mayor to find a cure. It's kind of stressful.
I can only imagine. Could I be of any assistance?
We're trying to talk to the mayor. You seem like someone who's pretty good with people.
I will happily talk to the mayor with you.
And so the three of you will continue on to town hall. Yeah, you can swing by the plaque. You see written in common here is a quick plaque that recounts the tale of. You see it's dated 4th era, which is 300 years ago before the last Sunderance. Do that more later. Of the tale of a hero fighting a basilisk who pulled out a mirror at the last minute and turned the beast to stone as it gazed upon its own reflection. We're heading to the town hall. Nick, Spilly, you're sitting in jail. Wonderful. You see you all head to the town hall and again go find the chairman of the People's Committee. You see, as you all come in, same sort of thing, there's a same sort of like vague work being done, planning documents, that sort of thing amongst the other members of the council. See lots of kind of, older type, richer types and sort of thing, a couple of really old sorts of people giving their advice. And and the Lewis continues says, "Oh, well, hello there."
I just want to quickly interject. As we're trying to find Merida, we're trying to get more information about why you're trying to speak to the mayor.
I'd probably relay.
Yeah, you catch Merida up on all of that. What was the law skills you took in the end? Did you say Fae and did you go animals or undead?
I've got Fae and animals and then genealogy.
Cool. You're welcome to make medicine checks, something like that if you want to, but I don't think you'll be able to beat them unless you've got
Probably not. I've only got +1 for medicine.
Yeah, cool. No brainer. You get up to 21 at most.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a hello, a very friendly welcoming there. Hello there. I don't recognise you all. Are you some of the travellers who came into our fine town?
Merida would step forward and offer out a hand and say, "It's very nice to meet you." My name is
Full clasp with a hand, real keen shape, lots of eye contact.
Yeah. My name is Merida. I hail from the north, and my friends and I are here to seek your assistance.
Doesn't know if you will family by name, but
We're a small kingdom.
doesn't matter. He says, yes. Can I help you at all?
So we've recently entered the town, and my friends here offered aid at the hospice, and we believe we might be able to offer a little bit more of aid to
yes,
the town to deal with this crisis that you seem to be having.
Well, yes, I heard they were not doing so well down there with the soldiers and such they'd recovered.
Yes, it does seem that they're suffering quite heavily.
Yes, and what sort of help are you hoping to provide?
We are seeking some strong, able-bodied volunteers to help us track down the main source of this crisis.
The matron mentioned we have prisoners who might be able to help us, and if we can help them form themselves slightly.
See, he has a bit of an uncomfortable look at it. I do not like that policy very much, but I suppose an offering to them cannot go astray. Come with me. You see, he leads you all down there. The 5 of the 6 of you are standing in the same room. Actually, you introduced yourself to the mayor, didn't you, Bigby, before you left, and said you had some skill at fighting.
Yeah.
See that the mayor swings you all past.
But you said he wasn't the mayor.
He's not the mayor.
Sharon.
Who keeps calling him the mayor? Stop! Nobody say the word mayor.
The chairman.
My apologies. Yes, chair.
Chairman.
Or we'll actually use the name.
Yeah.
You see, Lewis brings you the 3 of you who rocked up to town hall via the big box. and kind of calls out to you. Mr. Bigby, sir.
Oh, yes.
You said you had some skill at fighting. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And a detective. That might prove very beneficial to our cause.
Indeed, although I'm already on a case.
Indeed you are. I might have a more pressing issue for you if you were wanting to earn some goodwill. I cannot gift you property, but I can, put your name high on the list, so to speak.
Sounds good to me.
Wonderful. We have a small reconnaissance mission. He kind of fills you up to speed more or less as he heads you all down into the prison. There's a very boring political chat between him and the captain of the guard where he goes, "Hey, we're going to do this." "Oh, I don't like it." "Neither do I, but we're going to do it anyway." "All right." And the 6 of you are standing in the same room, 2 of you behind bars, but pretty close. You see Mayor Lewis, who I don't think either of you would have met.
No.
Certainly not the sort of person you introduce yourself to when you're in town illegally. But so Lewis kind of goes and says, "Now, both of you are in here because you have broken the rules of our little community, but I would very...
Nick would incredulously, how is playing cards breaking the rules?
You've broken the rules, and you snuck
Maribel
in.
would shoot like a glance at Nick, being like,
But
this
being
is the time.
forgiving place, I'd like to offer you a chance to alleviate your debts."
Merida would probably be behind him and just like,
"We'd like you to go with these fine, what do you call yourselves, adventurers? Healers? Travelers? We'd like you to go with these 3 here on a mission to retrieve a certain something from the woods nearby and bring it back for great aid of the healers and hospices here. And in return, now,
Nick would shoot a look as
settled,
if to
you'll
say,
be free to go about your business.
what do you need us to get?
You'll be chasing down a ghoul from a nearby battlefield. A task reasonably done with the 6 of you, I should say.
In that case, can I have my sword back?
I'm afraid I'll be keeping all of your equipment as collateral. Make sure you don't run off.
If you're sending me against the ghoul, I need a weapon at
You'll
least.
be getting a sword, just not your sword. The same goes for you, of course, though. Did Sibylla have much stuff on her when she was
I
arrested?
have fucking rags.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You see, they pull like a bag of just not much. Though there's not exactly much here, but you, in spirit, will be hanging on to it. As well as the trust that if you do betray, you're not welcome back in our community.
If I at least leave my jewellery behind, can I have my sword?
You seem very attached to the sword,
Well,
which makes me think you might come back.
My dog gave me
which
that
is why
sword.
I'm going to hold on.
That also gave me this ring.
That's nice. I'm gonna hang on to the sword. Borrow one of our swords. We have swords. Yeah, we do have swords. Look, at the end of the day, it's a very simple option. You can stay here, or you can come with them and earn yourself some freedom. Any takers?
Nick will put his hand through
Very
the gate.
sensible.
All right.
Very good. You see, Captain Regard unlocks some stuff. You're not given your equipment and kit. You are given a sword of your choosing.
Longsword.
You're given a long sword.
Instead of equipment, can I request maybe something that's not a tattered rag?
So they say, we can spare some
Shirt.
attire for sure. You see, you'll bought a bit of thing. So that says, very well then. Yes, well, I've got my business to attend to, but best of luck to you all. And, best of luck.
thank you very much, and we shall aim to do our best.
Let's go hunt some ghoul.
Very well. Well, take the goodwill of the town with you. I do hope it goes well for you. Yes, it's very good, very good. Well, go see the matron when you get back into town. So Lewis heads off. 6 of you all together can start to head towards the edge of town.
Cool.
Can Mordred, after Sibylla kind of gets new rags, take off his cloak and give it to her? Just for the time being. You don't have much, but maybe this will keep you warm?
Yeah, you're given a sword. Can you find the
Swimming
sheet?
in it.
Oh, it's just a dwarf.
On the gnome.
Oh, yeah.
This
I'm pretty sure.
Which Nick's going over the sword, checking the balance of.
folded in half.
Yeah.
It's of no exceptional make, but it's a fine quality.
You have a face washer. Right?
adequate quality, perhaps.
Does anyone know where we start looking for this ghoul?
Yes, the two of you who were in the hospice would have been told that there's a battlefield to the north somewhere. You will have to go off-road into the Greenswood, which does always present an element of danger.
We
That's
are
fine,
not
danger's my middle name.
to kill the ghoul.
Okay,
We
don't
don't
kill
kill
the ghoul.
anyone.
Hang on. You want us to go hunt the ghoul, but we're not to kill it.
No.
Then why are we hunting the damn ghoul?
We need to use the ghouls so we can heal these people.
Do you know
We're
how hard it
going
is to
to-
kill a ghoul, to
we're-
take down a ghoul without it killing you first?
We're going to suck out the life force of the ghoul
Give me a religion check.
and inject it into the people it's tried to kill.
Oh, okay. With no modifier at all, that's a 19.
19. You would know that a ghoul is a level 1 creature. So between the 6 of you, taking on a ghoul alive is a very doable task. It was a dangerous thing when it was 2 people talking about it.
Nick's trying to weasel out.
By all means, I'm just
As we get out,
He's planning on going back to the car and stealing shit back.
Nick's very different from Jen.
Yeah, he's very different. That's why I'm playing him.
does
I don't
anyone do
want a tiny
anything else
part of it.
before you leave the town? To
No.
go?
Merida would turn to Nick and go, we will get your items back, but at first we must prove to this town that we are trustworthy.
And you'll hear Nick muttering, "Oh yeah, I shouldn't have slipped that ace up my sleeve."
Can I ask Merida, is it north that we're heading?
Yes.
And that's the direction I was.
This is roughly the direction of your home. It sounds from the way that the battlefield is to the northeast and your place was to the northwest. But they're in vaguely the same sort of area. Enough that you'd know your way through these woods.
Yeah, well, this is kind of my home zone.
Yeah.
Well, just so all of you know, I have a less attractive form that I'll be taking as soon as I walk outside the town.
What a sense.
So just
Must be unattractive then.
You will
It's
head
less than
through
current.
various
So you don't
sites.
freak out when I
Cursed
transform.
by which your
You
hat?
missed that one.
Nope, I am just a beastkin. So
Just
As we leave the town,
It better not be a bloody crocodile.
I start to.
just a
Yes,
second,
go on.
sorry. You all head through the various farms that are
Don't you
around
need
the
to
outside of
crocodile?
town. Come to the eastern gate, as you see, which is mostly kept closed, but a couple of guards can lift it up. Let you out, and you walk a little ways through the path. You see the path between all glades. The kind of default is just forest everywhere. So these paths are just these thin cuts between the forests that go straight through. And as you start to head away from town, now the eyes of people and civilization.
Drizella starts to hum some really unpleasant, creepy sounding ditty to herself.
And Nickel linked close to Mud. What's wrong with that one?
There's nothing wrong with her.
and
That's
Big
a little
Bill
bit
transform
creepy.
into his hybrid shape, which
We're
is
all
like
a bit
half
creepy to
man, half
someone.
wolf, and start like
I'm
crawling
not-
on all fours. sniffing
And Nickel be genuinely offended. Excuse me, I'm not creepy to anyone.
He could be intimidating. She could be intimidating to some people. But I think she's got a heart of gold.
Do you get close enough to hear it?
Nick would have heard it and then backed off real quick.
Only just asking.
He'd have backed off.
As the six of you stand there, just slightly outside of town, in the relative safety of the roads for now, but soon to head into the green woods. A full moon standing over the top. That is where we will end our first session.
Ooh.
Yes.
Well
Thank you,
done,
everybody.
everyone.
Thank you.
I hope that was good.
I was just about to do you some sonic
Questions,
damage.
concerns,
Nice.
queries,
No,
anything
I'm not
else?
silly enough to hang around creepy person.
I'm really excited for this campaign.
Awesome. I think that went pretty well.
I was just reading through the beast
Good to
king
get to the
chain
point.
shape that I've got.
Dick around too much.
It seems like it's pretty much just for aesthetic. Like it doesn't really do anything.
It doesn't do anything mechanical.
No.
The only one,
It's-
the only
it gives me a bite that can give me a 1d4 piercing. that's it.
You'll get some more stuff as you level up with your
Yeah.
ancestry, which is neat. But I think it's level 5 until you get
the only one that
And
does something
I've
mechanical
actually
stuff, that's
gone
Kitsune.
with draconic ancestry because that'll give me more of the like breathing.
Yeah, and I'm happy to
Which
reflect
I